A reminder, click subscribe and then notifications, plus a tease. The trunk test is very different this time around. My agent said I should brag a little bit. Okay, I don't have an agent, but if you subscribed, maybe I would.
Life is not always fair. It's not always daisies and sunshine. We're not always in control. The best we can do sometimes is surround ourselves with pleasant things. The 1% should find the 2020 Genesis G90 an intriguing way to cocoon from harshness. It gets a mid-cycle refresh and a substantial one. The only carryover panels are the roof and doors. I'll point out the brand's new Crest grille because of its, subtlety? Maybe that's not the word I'm looking for.
A luxury car should pamper an owner, and what's better than simplifying life? G90 starts right out of the gate during the buying process. Choose between a V6 and a V8 engine, rear or all-wheel drive, one of 7 paint colors, one of 3 interior colors, and that's pretty much it. No blizzard of option packages to deal with like some luxury brands. Looking at you, Germans.
For servicing, a Genesis agent picks up the car and drops a loaner, a convenience that keeps owners from mingling with the Palisade, Santa Fe, and Sonata crowd because there are no standalone Genesis dealerships at the moment. G90 will be purchased at a Hyundai store since it's the parent company. And really, it's not as if this is the riffraff of the world. That small consolation keeps big bucks in your wallet. This is a rear-drive ultimate model, meaning there's an 8-cylinder in the nose. Its retail price is $76,725. Adding all-wheel drive would tack $2,500 onto that. Yeah, that's serious money, but fully kitted out, G90 is $9,000 less than a base rear-drive BMW 7 Series. It's more affordable than some pickups these days. The V8 is a 5-liter that offers 55 more horsepower than the Turbo 6, but only an additional 7 pound-feet of torque. We're talking 420 horses and 383 pound-feet here on premium fuel. Buttery smooth cog swaps that often go unnoticed are done by an 8-speed with one of the best electric controllers I've used. Manual control might never be summoned, but it's there. The drive modes adjust throttle and transmission mapping, plus alter the adaptive dampers.
There's some light drizzle happening. That's often the case here in the Pacific Northwest, causing the pavement to be a little bit slick. Would be nice to have all-wheel drive because with rear-wheel drive, this is a powerful machine. It's easy to spin the wheels. There is a nice distant muted growl from the V8. Now, Car and Driver has tested both the Turbo 6 and the V8 and found the 0 to 60 time to be about the same. I'm seeing 5.5 seconds, so if you don't want to spend the extra money, go with the Turbo.
I suspect the V8 has a silkier dynamic than the V6. I don't have the option of comparing them, so you should test drive both. Fuel economy? The Turbo 6 averages 1 mile per gallon better than the V8 that the EPA rates at 19 miles per gallon combined.
That's not great. You could go with a Lexus LS Hybrid or a BMW 745e plug-in, and you'd get much better fuel economy. But they're a lot more expensive.
And you have to wonder if luxury buyers even think about fuel efficiency, especially when gas costs less than bottled water these days. These machines are all about keeping occupants comfortable and insulated from the harshness lurking outside the acoustical glass and triple-sealed doors. The 90 does that exceptionally well. With active noise cancellation, the cabin might be quieter than some libraries.
Does this have sporty driving dynamics? No, but it does drive like a modern luxury vehicle. It's fairly composed. The adaptive suspension does not use cameras to read the road ahead and then react, but it's serene, it's very comfortable, it's quiet, and when you chuck it into a corner, it doesn't feel like a waterbed. I should know, I used to have a waterbed long ago in college.
Yeah, a Mercedes-AMG S63, Audi S8, or BMW M760i will slay this on the track, but really, Think about how often that happens. Besides, for the price of any of these German performance machines, both a G90 and a solid used Porsche Cayman S can be parked in the garage. Or swap out the Porsche for 2 new Miatas.
The active electronic safety features in the G90 have been improved. For example, the automatic emergency braking system now detects cyclists as well as cars and pedestrians. And on the highway, the lane centering is much better, much more smooth and secure. This is not Super Cruise by any stretch of the imagination, but it is better.
What the G90 doesn't get, that Audi, BMW, Lexus, Mercedes, and Porsche have in spades, is badge superiority. Rolling up in one of those suggests the driver invested early and heavily in Amazon, or maybe they just got a good lease deal. Also, the Genesis isn't flooded with advanced tech like gesture controls and augmented reality navigation.
7 Series and S-Class have some very impressive technology, but the question is, are you going to use it? This is a comfortable, quiet, luxurious car with decent tech. It's about 98% of anything you'd need.
Like computer software, cars these days have so many features, owners may never discover them or need them. Cameras that show your blind spot when signaling are a nice touch. It's tangible, it works. This feature is found in some Hyundais and Kias too, if you can't afford the G90. One baseline that luxury vehicles must provide is proper ambiance. Nappa leather, open-pore wood, and small things like soft-line pockets are all here. This isn't a Breitling, but if you're trying to impress, maybe that's better on your wrist. Let's see. Heated wheel and soft closed doors, present and accounted for. The seats are heated and vented, naturally. They also adjust 22 different ways, and something called Smart Posture Care uses your physical profile data to ergonomically calibrate an ideal seating position. Same goes for the mirrors, head-up display, and steering wheel. Also, there's wireless phone charging, though you'll be plugging it in if you want to use Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Want a giant sunroof or dramatic ambient LED cabin lighting? That doesn't happen here. And the Lexicon audio system is good, but not best in class, to my ears anyway. The space has a traditional look to it, no giant screens sweeping the cockpit, and for some, that's a luxury worth spending less for. The interface has the right amount of hard buttons, though higher contrast would make them easier to read. Everything is simple and straightforward, with good response when using the screen like an iPad.
And now it's time for the Backseat documentary. Please keep it short. My evil twin can be a bit verbose. It's worth it. There's a lot going on back here. Of course, loads and loads of room, plus the seats recline way back. They're also vented and heated. Now, normally I talk about things like whether or not these are big and if there are seat pockets on both seats, but there's so much more going on here.
Let's see. There is dual zone climate control back here. All of the sunshades can be controlled from either backseat position. If I was seated on the other side, I could give myself even more legroom, though. Come on, how much do you really need? There's no skimping on the trim. Devices can be charged up. Those in back have control over the Navi system and sound system. Imagine the trouble I could cause. I can even check to see how long my hair is getting. Ooh, that's pretty long. Wondering where to stash your Fiji water? It came all the way from the islands to end up here. The center spine is on the large side, and 3 can occupy this space without a hitch, but 2 is best because of all the controls on the console. G90 would be perfect pressed in delivery service. I think I kept that pretty brief, considering.
Nope, no TP trunk test for obvious reasons. I'm trying to shelter in place as best I can while still producing these videos. So instead of the 2-ply, I'm putting things back here that'll help you to know me better. And since this is a fancy car, what better than a trunk full of Emmy Awards? Yeah, I won all of those. And there are some inside. I can't find them all. There's even a great place for broken Emmy Awards. That's too bad, but they do make great whisks. Feel like an omelet now.
And can I just say, be careful handling these things. The wingtips are razor sharp. Trust me, they draw blood. This is the first Emmy ever given for a dedicated podcast, by the way. Okay, let's get to the trunk. The seats don't fold. There's only a small pass-through. Oh, look, that one's taking a nap. There's a feature where standing close to the trunk for 3 or 4 seconds with the proximity key in pocket or purse will pop the lid automatically, something that Hyundai puts in a lot of its vehicles. Like many big luxury sedans, the trunk isn't enormous, not much storage if any under the floor. Let's flash back to the original G90 piece I did years ago for some normalcy. Like the Mercedes S-Class, the boot here is good for just 6 packs of the 2-ply. That's one less than a Honda Accord. They're not very common. You might not remember what the G90 looked like before the refresh, so here's a reminder. I'll let the shot linger. And here's a look at the outgoing interior. It's not a significant change inside. Genesis is adding horizontal elements like this on all of its newest models, and optically it lengthens and broadens the visual. To a person, anyone that commented on the look mentioned the wheels that have the same pattern as the grille. Yes, it's huge in the current fashion. I think it works, though my eye is always drawn to this. Have to believe it could be hidden better. The Genesis badge has an Aston Martin vibe, but the G90 isn't svelte like the British brand. This form is understated and conservative. It's not as graceful as A8, LS, or S-Class. One approach to luxury goods marketing is to charge a very high price to telegraph the exclusivity of a product. Fendi purses don't hold money any better than a Coach bag. Burberry scarves won't keep you warmer than a Pendleton. It's all about image and perception. Genesis is a young brand. It hasn't cultivated those attributes yet. Maybe it needs to charge more to signal its positioning. But until it does, the G90 has the attributes needed to keep the 1%, hey, even the 2% coddled and insulated from life's unpleasantries. It may not impress strangers, but chances are practical wealthy folk and their accountants will like it a lot. Genesis is doing some things right. It was first in the 2020 J.D. Power Vehicle Dependability Study, and G70 won North American Car of the Year in 2019. It's racking up some accolades. It curiously has no SUVs, only sedans. Not great product planning considering what people are buying these days. That's finally being addressed with the GV80, but standalone dealerships will be needed, and you have to wonder how that will unfold with the economy in tatters right now. Stay tuned.
Thanks for sticking around to the very end. For that, you get one more gander at all of those Emmy Awards. That took a long time to accumulate those, and many of them are team efforts. And really, awards aren't so important to me as is giving you good information, all right? I really do try to sweat the details on these reviews, so please click subscribe and then notifications. Make my effort worth it, okay? Thank you. You're awesome. Stay safe out there, folks, okay? Buckle up. Wash your hands. That's Driven. I'm Tom Voelk.